Today's video calls for shrimp because we're going to make an easy but healthy and delicious Valentine's dinner with brown rice and spinach. So with that said, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 375 Fahrenheit or 190 Celsius. We're going to start on our brown rice because it takes the longest. I have a full video on how to make that, so I'll leave a link at the end so you can check it out. Long story short, you're going to combine a couple things, saute some stuff, stir it together, add it to one pan. It's really simple. This entire meal seems really stressful, but I put this whole video in order, so follow it step by step, and you should be able to execute this entire dinner with real ease. Our rice takes an hour, but that gives us plenty of time to start on everything else. So the first thing we're going to do is thinly slice 4 to 6 garlic cloves. You want to slice them as thin as you possibly can, but watch out for your digits. You don't want to lose one on Valentine's Day. That would be a mess. If you can't tell, we're making a garlic-infused olive oil. This stuff is so delicious, you can use it for pretty much anything. You want to make sure to use a good olive oil for something like this. This is what all of our garlic looks like after it's been thinly sliced. Now we're going to add it to about a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Like I said, you want to use a good olive oil for something like this because you're going to eat it. You don't want to use a cooking oil because hence the name, it's cooking oil. Extra virgin olive oil is more refined, so it's going to give you a deeper, rich, better flavor, and it's going to be a nice mouthfeel. And this is what it should look like after you added all your garlic to your oil. Next, we're going to peel all of our shrimp. You want to make sure your shrimp has been deveined. It should look something like this. If you don't see a little black streak in it, that means it's been deveined, and deveined means that the poop chute has been taken out of it. Basically all shrimp should be deveined, but you just want to make sure and be cautious because you don't want to eat any of the poop. But go ahead and peel all the shrimp shells off and save them. You can use the shells to make a shrimp stock for soups, or to have a stock for pho or ramen or anything of that nature. I use gloves just so it's easier for me to start working on other things. It's not a must to wear gloves, but I just find it easier. You can also leave the shrimp tails on if you would like, or you can take them off. If you leave them on, it's a nice little presentation, but it's really up to you. You can use fresh or frozen shrimp for this. I went with fresh just because I had it available, and it was cheaper to buy the shrimp with the shells on it. You can also buy your shrimp deshelled and deveined. Deshelled, obviously it's a little easier, it's less work for yourself, but it gives you an opportunity to make another dish out of something. It's really whatever's convenient for you. It does take a little time and some patience, but it's well worth it. It's a little good skill to have. I forgot to mention at the beginning that I went with a full pound of raw shrimp. Also, I'll show you how to peel shrimp the easy way so you can breeze through this with no problem. So the first thing you're going to do is grab your shrimp and find the underside where the feet are and peel your shrimp shell on the sides of your shrimp and pull the feet away from the body. So again, peel the sides of your shrimp and then grab it by the feet and pull the shell away from the body, and it should come off fairly easy like that. And then go through all your shrimp, make sure you didn't miss one or there's not any shells just floating around in your shrimp. You want to make sure you clean your work surface really well after this because we don't want any cross-contamination. Next, you're going to grab as many pieces as you want for your dinner. I went ahead and did 4 a piece, so 8 all day. Put it on a paper towel just to get as much of the extra water out of our shrimp as possible because we know oil and water don't mix, and we're really not looking to start a fire on Valentine's Day. Next, in a bowl, we're going to start on our salad. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of dried cranberries to our bowl, then 1 teaspoon of roasted pumpkin seeds, to about 1 1/2 cup of spinach. Go ahead and lightly toss your face off. We'll hold off on the dressing for now, and we'll do that later. But be aware, if you're going to eat a salad like this, something could happen. Try to be all sexy and say what's up, and then smile and you got spinach in your teeth, but try to save it with the double guns and the wink. Now our timer's gone off for our rice, so we'll go ahead and pull that out and let it rest for 10 minutes and go ahead and start on the rest of our dinner. Next, we're going to start on our shrimp. I went with a medium-sized saute pan because that's the biggest pan I need. If you are doing more shrimp, of course, use the correct pan accordingly. You don't want to overcrowd anything. Go ahead and use 1 teaspoon of cooking oil and just move your pan around to coat everything with your oil. And we're going to get this ripping hot so we can get a nice sear on all of our shrimp. Now that our pan's hot, we're going to add our shrimp. And you want to make sure everything is one even layer, nothing's touching each other. It should sound like a sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Then pull a salt bay and season your shrimp with a little bit of salt. You don't want to go too heavy. Then we'll cook our shrimp about 1 to 2 minutes on each side. You don't want to overcook it because it'll turn into rubber. Once it becomes that nice pink color like this, you want to go ahead and flip everything over, and we'll cook this side for a minute or two as well. Next, you're going to grab your sliced garlic from earlier, drain off as much oil as you possibly can, and add about a teaspoon of garlic. And once you get your garlic in your pan, you want to make sure you spread all of your garlic out. Of course, it's going to stick together because of the olive oil, but you want to make sure you get it all spread out so you get a nice even cook on all of it. Everything is going to become really fragrant because your garlic is starting to cook, and it smells so good. It's one of my favorite smells. But at the ready, you should have about less than a quarter cup of white wine because we're going to start making a pan sauce with white wine and butter. Then if you want to spice it up a bit, you can add a little pinch of red pepper flakes. It's really up to you on that one. Next, to our pan, we're going to add 1 1/2 teaspoon of butter. Then we're going to turn our heat down to medium and let our sauce reduce down into a nice, rich pan sauce. This is going to take a little bit of time, but that gives us plenty of time to start finishing the rest of our meal. And you can tell how liquidy our pan sauce is at this point, but in the end, you'll see how rich and thick it will become. Next, we're going to start dressing our salad, and we're going to add a small pinch of salt. Then grab our garlic-infused extra virgin olive oil from earlier and add about a teaspoon of oil to our bowl. This is why I recommended using a nice extra virgin olive oil. Then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of balsamic reduction to our salad. This will be a nice balance to our fatty extra virgin olive oil. Then toss your salad face off, but just be aware that your pumpkin seeds and cranberries have fallen to the bottom because of course they're heavier. So when you go to plate it, you don't want to leave those goods behind. Now you can see our pan sauce is starting to thicken up a bit. Once you see that, you know your shrimp is almost done. Now that our rice is rested for 10 minutes, we'll go ahead and fluff it with a fork. If you went over the 10 minutes, it's really not that big of a deal. But with this guide, you should be able to knock it out no problem. And we're about done at this point. We gotta add a few more finishing touches and we'll be ready to eat. Then add another small pinch of butter. And when I said healthy at the beginning, I guess I meant sorta healthy. More butter, we'll just add more fat and give us a nice, even richer pan sauce. Then we're gonna zest a fresh lemon over our shrimp. Lemon and seafood are like peanut butter and jelly or Batman and Robin. They go so well together. The acid from the lemon will help cut through the fattiness of all the butter in our pan sauce. And we're gonna let it reduce down a little bit more because it's not as thick as we'd like it. Let it go for about another minute or two. Now you can tell our pan sauce has finally thickened up. It has coated our pan really well. Go ahead and give it a taste now to see if you need to add any more seasoning like salt or any pepper. And then we're going to add a small pinch of chopped parsley just for that sweet aesthetic look. So go ahead and give that a toss. And now we can start plating up our dinner. And go ahead and set the table with a nice white wine. White wine is perfect for seafood, and that's about as much knowledge as I know about wine. Oh, and don't forget the candle. It'll add a nice romantic feel to the dinner. This is how I plated my dinner. There's multiple ways to do this, so play around with it till you find something you like. Alright, let's give our food a try. First, we'll start with the wine. Yep, that's pretty gross. It's wine. We'll try our rice. We know it's going to be tasty from the last video, but for old time's sake, we'll try it anyways. Still the same. Next, we'll try our salad. Try to get a little bit of everything. Nice and crunchy from the pumpkin seeds and the spinach. And a little tartness from the balsamic and the cranberries. That helps cut through the fat of the extra virgin olive oil. Nice and fresh and light. Next, let's try our shrimp. Nice and tender. Super delicious because it's butter and garlic. You can never go wrong with those flavors. Overall, it's really good. Alright, that's it for this video. I'll try to keep this video super simple so anybody could do this if you're a pro or if you're a novice. And if you don't have a significant other this Valentine's, just do what they do on Parks and Rec and have a Galentine's Day. Also, check out my cookie Valentine's video. It's also simple and delicious. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and also find me on Instagram at TaylorMakes92. I gotta go figure out who I'm gonna pawn this bottle of wine off on, but we'll see you next time. This is all super simple for anybody could